Alright guys, if you didn't have a good enough reason before to do well in the ACFT, I think I finally got a good reason for you. And that is, hopefully by this year, if you're able to score a 540 or better on the ACFT, then you are exempt from height and weight. Now, come on, that's a pretty good deal, right? Now, I'm a little late on getting this news to you guys. I'm sorry about that, but I just finally got word of it doing my own research here. And it was a couple months ago during the 2022 ASA exhibit or conference. I think they call it an exhibit. Sergeant Major of the Army Grinston announced that one of the changes they're looking at implementing in regard to height and weight, because they know that there's been a lot of backlash and a lot of problems with it over the years, is that if a soldier is able to score a 540 on the ACFT, then they will be completely exempt from the height and weight standards outlined in 600-9.
Is what I want to do that I think that we will do very quickly. And that is, if you score 540 on the ACFT, you will be exempt from height and weight. So 540 on the ACFT, and you would be exempt for height and weight.
I think the majority of us out there who have served or are currently serving can agree that the height and weight standards in the Army have been outdated for some time now. You know, they miss a lot of marks considering the difference between body fat percentage and muscle mass percentage. And I can tell you throughout my career, I've seen it plenty of times where, you know, some of the most fit guys are out there, you know, they're crushing the PT test, either it was the APFT or the ACFT, you know, because they're strong and they have a lot of muscle. And when it comes time to go do height and weight, they bust weight and they have to go get taped, which can be kind of embarrassing sometimes. Not only that, but sometimes they're able to get through the PT test with flying colors and somehow they still bust weight and they bust tape. Now you're looking at a career problem. In reality, the argument can be made that that's not really an issue with the soldier, but it's an issue with the standards. You know, I've had a lot of buddies that I've worked with throughout the years that I've seen, you know, go through some challenges with the height and weight program and the way that it's implemented, and it's definitely not always a positive thing. I've seen guys that are just hitting the gym nonstop, super fit guys, but they're just teeter-tottering on that weight scale on whether or not they're going to have to be taped, and they don't want to be taped. So they'll start doing things like take hydroxycut, or they'll start running around with sweatsuits and stuff like that, you know, a few days before the PT test or before they're actually going to get weighed, which is super bad for you, by the way. Don't run around with sweatsuits. Don't do that to yourself. That's not good. All you're doing is sweating out all your water weight. You're not actually burning extra calories doing that. Don't do that, guys. Or they'll just adapt really unhealthy diets, you know, weeks before they're supposed to be taking a PT test for record, which is going to diminish their performance, and all because they're afraid on how much they're going to weigh. So obviously that's not good for the force, right? Those are bad things that are happening based upon the standards that are implemented onto soldiers that are otherwise excellent soldiers as far as PT goes. But then again, on the flip side, you know, there's definitely soldiers out there that could stand to lose a few pounds, if not many pounds. Let's just say we tacked on an additional 20 to 30 pounds of weight allowed, dependent on your height. So whatever standard for you, go ahead and add an additional 20 to 30 pounds of that, and that's your new weight standard, okay? Well, that might be good and all if you're somebody who's just trying to get some gains or trying to tack on a whole bunch of muscle, but for those that are a little bit lazier, or, you know, those that just aren't really trying to bulk up in the gym, that just leaves them more wiggle room to tack on more fat. And I think we can all agree that the majority of the force is probably just going to do that. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of high speeds out there that just want to get, you know, lean, mean, strong, buff, killing machines, all that stuff. But there's plenty of sugar puff rangers out there too. So we have to find some sort of common ground, right? We have to find a middle ground. We have to find something that works for everybody. And I think that the way the Sergeant Major of the Army is approaching this dilemma is a pretty good way to go about it. And after listening to a little bit of what he had to say about the topic at the conference, it sounds like there was a lot of research that went into this, and it was found that the majority of soldiers that are very physically fit but still somehow busting weight are scoring over 540s on the ACFT, or at least they should be able to. So with that sort of research to back up an idea like this, I think we're definitely heading to the right direction with these standards and how we're going to see them change in the future. So knowing that these are the standards that we can most likely be seeing in the future, it's now more than ever, I mean, if you didn't have any incentive before, I think this is an enormous incentive to go ahead and score past a 540 on the ACFT. I think it's a great way to motivate everybody out there to do well on the PT test and give them some sort of incentive on the back end where they can be, you know, if you're somebody who's out there and you're super fit and you like to do shows and you like to build muscle and all that stuff, hey, now your opportunity for that is endless. You never have to worry about height and weight. As long as you go out there and you crush the ACFT, which you should be able to anyway if you are that person, you got nothing to worry about. And I think that is a great way to approach this. I really do. I agree with that approach. I hope it comes true. I've been in the Army almost 2 decades now, and we've been using the same standard the entire time I've been in. And there have been times where my weight has fluctuated based on my certain goals, or even back in the day when I wasn't even like a fitness nerd like I am now, where I did have to come up with on-the-fly solutions that were ill-educated and honestly not healthy for me, in order to make sure that I passed weight because I didn't want to get taped. And those sorts of things included, like I was talking about before, trying to sweat it out a night or two before, bad dieting, taking things like hydroxycut. I did all those things too, man. And honestly, that's not good for the physicality of soldiers. It's not good for their health, and it's not good for their mental health as well. Especially when it's somebody who's trying to better themselves but still being knocked backwards as they're seeing progress with their own personal fitness goals. They're being knocked backwards by the professional organization that they are a part of. And that can be quite confusing, right? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there that are confused by that and have had issues and had to deal with that in the past throughout their careers. And real quick, if you are somebody who is struggling with weight standards, and this is more aimed towards the people who are they have a little bit of extra body fat, okay? Don't think that it's a good idea to just start eating a whole bunch of salads right before your PT test, because you're just gonna lack in performance when you actually do take that PT test, and it's just gonna be much harder for you. Don't think that it's a good idea to wear a sweatsuit or go to the sauna for days and days at a time right before the PT test. It's going to dehydrate you, it's going to make you feel like crap, and it's just not going to be good for you. You're not actually burning calories doing that. You're just sweating out all the water that should be in your body, okay? It's not a good idea. Don't do that. And don't take fat burners, okay? That stuff is it's either going to be a huge waste of money and time for you, and honestly just bad for your blood circulation and bad for your heart, but it's going to give you weird addictions that you didn't have before, especially those that are loaded with caffeine and other sorts of supplements. It's going to deregulate the way your body is supposed to metabolize everything naturally, and honestly, I just can't talk enough bad things about fat burners. Don't take that shit. The best thing you can do is just develop good habits, pay attention to your caloric intake, pay attention to the food you're eating, and drink plenty of water. Believe it or not, if you stay properly hydrated, you will be flushing out a lot of the toxins and gunk that gets stuck in your system, and you'll actually lose weight from drinking more water, okay? It's not gonna be a ton of weight, it's not gonna happen overnight, but that is a good habit to develop. You should always do your best to stay properly hydrated at all times. All in all, you're not gonna fix your weight problem overnight. You have to develop good habits, and you have to implement those habits, and it's really up to you at the end of the day. Not only that, but you gotta start implementing more cardio. If you really are somebody who has a hard time with eating part of things, you just can't help but eat. You know, I love to eat. I take in about 4,500 calories a day, but I also really like running, and I really like working out, okay? So you have to be able to balance that. I can give you a whole bunch more tips on how to initiate weight loss and how to stay lean, mean, fighting machines. And if you want more of that, just go ahead and drop in the comments, let me know. I'll make more video content for you on that topic specifically. But those basic rules that I've already outlined for you, start implementing those, you'll see a difference. But yeah, guys, that's great news, right? So I think the Sergeant Major of the Army is making a great decision there. Hopefully that gets implemented by the end of this year, if not by the very beginning of next year. Make sure to use that as a true incentive for you, even if you're somebody who doesn't normally have to worry about height and weight. I think that's just another reason to go out there and do your best on the ACFT, do your best in fitness, and just, you know, be motivated, all right? You know, the big leagues up at the top can only do so much when we're just down here saying, please, please let us cancel out the height and weight standards. You know, obviously that's never going to happen because we'll just have too many people start getting too fat. You know, I mean, we can be real with that. That's what would happen. But I think what they're doing is a great equalizer. It's a great way to find a compromise, and really now the ball is in our court. They're saying, okay, if you guys think you can handle it, here you go. Handle it. Show us you can do it. All right, so do it. We got to do it. It's up to us now. And I'll tell you what, you're going to see me giving my all, 110%, every single PT test that I will ever take throughout the military as long as I'm still in. And I expect you to do the same, because that's what we're all about on this channel, right? Motivation, dedication, learning, knowledge, and sharing with each other. It's all about the community. So if you guys have anything else that you wanted to include as part of what we talked about on this video, any comments, any concerns, any other information, anything I might have jacked up, I don't think I got anything wrong, but if I did, please correct me in the comments. I want all this to be as useful for everybody that is watching this video. That's what this channel is all about. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. But besides that, that's all I got for you on this one. I hope you enjoyed the news, and I hope you're motivated to do better on the ACFT now. Besides that, I've got nothing else for you. I'll see you on the next one.